This is Chapter 5, Adjusting Perspective in an Image. Some students are struggling with this project a little bit because the perspective warp doesn't work quite the same for some of us than what our book is telling us. And I'm not sure if it's that our book is written from an earlier version of Photoshop, because Photoshop pretty much has quite a bit of updates. Or if it's just because our video card is outdated and it doesn't work quite the same. But I'm going to show you guys how to basically work on this, even if we have some differences. So I'm going to make it as large as I can. And I've gotten this picture by using File, Browse, and Bridge, and I went to the Student G drive. And you need to save your work. So we're going to go to File, and then Save As. You're going to save in your H drive, in your Computer Graphics folder, same way we always do it. Computer Graphics and Bridge, working. Make sure that says Photoshop and hit Save. Hit OK. Alright, make sure you're in the train layer and not the background layer. Choose Edit and Perspective Warp. This feature requires a fair amount of processing power. Like I said before, it all depends on whether or not our video card has been updated, on whether or not it's going to work. Some of you, after you do this, it's going to automatically, you're going to have a little animation that comes up, especially if you have this Learn tab open. Your book wants you to go ahead and watch that little animation that comes up. Like, here's the animation tab for the eyedropper. That's kind of what it's talking about. But we're going to move on. So we're going to draw a quad for the sides of the train. You're going to click above the top of the smokestack and drag down to the railroad tie below the front wheel and drag across the end of the caboose. The plane is currently a rectangle, so you're going to just click and drag to get all of that whole train. Then you're going to drag a second quad for the front of the train. So dragging across the, this is actually called a cow catcher, and it's for what it sounds like, to catch the cows on the railroad track when the train goes by. So you're going to click and drag out and up, and that's the second part that you have drawn. Alright, so number 10 on page 135, it says drag the corners of the plane to match the angles of the train. The bottom line of the side plane should run along the bottom of the train wheels. The top edge should border with the top of the caboose. So it basically wants us to move this around a little bit to border the train. And I'm not sure what it wants us to do here. So we'll just kind of come down a little bit right here. We'll see how it goes. Alright, you can see the pictures on page 135 and try and match that up the best you can. I'm going to come up a little bit just to match the picture. Okay. Click the warp option in the options bar. And close the tutorial box that shows you how to warp the plane, which ours does not show us, so we're not going to worry about that. And click the automatically straighten near the vertical line button next to warp in your options bar. So you're going to vertically align and drag the handles to manipulate the planes, moving the back end of the train down and into perspective with the tracks. Exaggerate the perspective towards the caboose for more of a dramatic result. So here's where you're going to get that train to look like it feels like it actually belongs on the track. And when it talks about an exaggerated look, anytime you look at something in perspective, when something is going away from you, it gets smaller. When something's closer to you, it's bigger. So we're going to exaggerate it to really make it feel like this is a train that's moving. This cowcatcher does not look right, so let's get that to look right. Move that over just a touch. Really make it feel like it fits on that track. Okay, so when you're satisfied with the perspective, click the Commit Perspective Warp button in the options bar. And you are finished. Save your work and close your file.